Salve to Skipuli. Okay, today we are talking about Poseidon. Poseidon is known by, that's the Greek name. Neptune is the Roman or Latin name. Poseidon is one of the 12 Olympians like Zeus is. So he is also Zeus's brother. That makes Kronos, or Saturn, his father, and Rhea is his mother. And so, if you remember the story, that means that he was one of the ones in Kronos' belly, rescued by Zeus, teams up with Zeus to defeat the Titans and take over the universe. So, Zeus and his two brothers, Poseidon and Hades, divided up rule of the universe. Zeus got the lands and the heavens. Poseidon gets the sea. So think of Poseidon a lot like Zeus of the ocean. You're going to notice a lot of similarities between Poseidon and Zeus. If you think back to our Zeus videos, you'll remember that there was at least one statue or two that I showed you that we weren't really sure if it was Zeus or if it was Poseidon. Sometimes you won't be able to tell on your own like that this is Poseidon, but remember there might be some other evidence, like for example maybe the statue was found in a temple of Poseidon or a temple of Zeus, or maybe there was some stuff found laying nearby it that led us to believe it was Zeus or Poseidon. So you'll notice right away, and here we have a bronze statuette from the 5th century BC, that he looks a lot like Zeus. He's got the beard, the hair, the face, pretty much everything makes him look just like Zeus. Again, think of him as Zeus of the oceans. Here, with a 2nd century BC marble statue, he's taking the pose of Zeus, where he's about to throw something. Of course, it won't be the lightning bolt, it'll be his trident, but the beard, the hair, the musculature, the aged but not feeble look, pretty much up and down, is going to make it really difficult to tell if it's Zeus or Poseidon if there's not something in their hand or some other sort of textual clue around him, contextual clue. This one we looked at in our Zeus folder. There's no way to tell if this is Zeus or Poseidon. Poseidon is featured in a lot of fountains, especially in Europe. A lot of fountains like made in the Middle Ages or the Renaissance in particular that feature Poseidon, and you'll notice a intricate work here in the sculpture with the beard and the hair. You might notice that there are some things kind of embedded in Poseidon, in his hair or on his body or in his clothing or at his feet, that give away it's Poseidon because they're symbols of the ocean, that is sea life, or other objects that we associate with the sea. Intricate detail in this one. Now we have a very simple vase painting. And remember, the reason why vase paintings are so important is not because it was the best art ever created by the ancient Greeks, it's because it survived the test of time. And it gives us what the average Greek would have thought. Remember, we did talk a lot about vase paintings in our Zeus videos, is that they're very simple and they were made for an everyday audience. That is, it's just a pot. Like whenever we have a Greek vase or a pot or an amphora or a kylix or any sort of Greek vaseware, it was just made to be a vase, and that the art on it was just decorative. It's to our benefit that we have so many of them that have mythological scenes on them. But again, don't think that it was prized as the most valued art. It was like just something you went and bought and it happened to have some decoration on it, so it's not so boring. But even in the incredibly simple design here, you can tell it's Poseidon. You can see the hair, you can see the beard, and generally a male figure, kind of big, kind of muscular. The trident gives it away. The trident, again, is this 3-pronged spear that pretty much no one else is going to have access to. That's going to be his most identifying feature. And again, if he's kind of in this pose where he's about to throw something, maybe this was Zeus if it were a lightning bolt that would be in his hand, maybe it was Poseidon if indeed there was a trident. I believe in our Zeus talks last couple times we talked about how sometimes there were no eyes, that they actually would have put something in there, maybe a marble or some other thing to make the statue look like it would come to life. We did look at this one in our Zeus folder. This one's really, really famous. Again, just imagine a lightning bolt or a trident. Very famous vase here, as in addition to Poseidon over here, Hermes and Athena are prominently displayed. We'll talk more about Hermes and Athena in their own videos. Right here, all you need is this one little thing. There's the trident. You know you're looking at Poseidon. The beard helps, of course. And he pretty much looks like Zeus. Hermes and Athena, of course, kind of steal the scene here, and they've got a lot more identifiable things going on in them, but that's all it takes to identify Poseidon. It's got to be Poseidon right there. And we're going to be looking at a lot of classical art, a lot of Renaissance art, the amount of detail that went into sculpture, where the skin itself looks like it's alive, that things were made out of rock or stone 20 centuries ago, 22 centuries ago, 24 centuries ago, that could have this level of detail, and that we can still look at it now today. Just kind of boggles the mind. This is a fountain. Besides it clearly looking like Poseidon with the trident and, you know, the facial features, the beard, the hair. You might notice that Poseidon's beard and hair might be a little bit more free-flowing than Zeus's is. Oftentimes, the artist will use that to kind of bring up more sea imagery, ocean imagery, as if, like, you know, water is flowing through his beard or his hair. He's gonna be as muscular as Zeus, you know, very muscular. But Zeus isn't going to be sitting on a clamshell or having a little dolphin next to him. That the telltale signs of Poseidon. Okay, he's not just the god of the ocean. Like Zeus has a number of features. Zeus represents being a king. You know, he's the leader of the Olympians. He's the ruler of the universe. But he also wields the lightning bolt and thunder and the eagle. And Zeus is actually the god of a lot of other things we didn't even have a chance to talk about. Poseidon is also the god of horses. And you might not see any relationship between the ocean and horses. And there doesn't have to be. One thing about Greek religion is the Greeks spread all throughout Greece and modern-day Turkey and all these islands. And they lived apart from each other, but then when Greek trade and commerce really arose at the end of the Dark Ages, the Greeks started communicating with each other. And people in one Greek town might worship this one god, and there's like one special thing about him, like, for example, Poseidon and oceans. But other people in some other place might also worship Poseidon, but to them he was really, really sacred to horses. So what happened is when the Greeks really started traveling a lot, when Athens and Sparta started like really developing a system of allies and having empires, you'll notice that ideas about the gods kind of get blended. That is, he becomes Poseidon, the god of oceans and of horses, and he can be both. And a lot like we'll talk about with Artemis and the deer, he is both the tamer of horses, and horses are also sacred to him. And it might be kind of might seem kind of contradictory. It might seem kind of strange that horses are sacred to him, but here he is stabbing a horse in the throat with his trident. These sorts of seeming contradictions are found all throughout Greek religion and Greek mythology. So this is a really famous statue. Notice all the blues in here as well in this marble to really bring out the idea of the ocean, and of course the trident being prominent. But horses sacred to Poseidon. Here we see another Poseidon of the ocean, you know, fish or sea monster, maybe it's an eel or something like that around him. And this is the trident right here. It's just turned where you can see the three pointy ends if you look really carefully. Okay, I'm going to talk more about Poseidon in part 2, but as I've been doing, we're going to cut it in half right here so you can have a brain break. All right, Poseidon part 2 coming up next.